Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. This is GearFest 2021. We're so glad you're with us, and we have a special guest joining us. This is Cody Carnes. It's great to see you.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you taking time out. I know you're in St. Louis on tour.
Yes, I am. We're finishing up a 24-date tour. We're on our last couple dates of it. And man, it feels so good to be back on the road and be with people again. We're having a great time.
I bet. I can only imagine how nice it is to get up in front of a crowd and play the music and just be out there, if you will. That's very cool.
People are so excited to be back too. I think it's going to be an exciting time for the touring world to just get back up and going again. And I think people are so ready. So.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, we've all been kind of locked away, and I know you've been working on some new music while we were locked down. You got a single that's just hitting as we're actually filming this, and you've got a tour coming up later this year, also, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've got a new song called "Too Good to Not Believe" with my friend Brandon Lake, who's another worship leader, and yeah, we've got a lot of touring booked. We just announced a summer tour with Chris Tomlin and Bethel Music, and we're so pumped about that. It'll be outdoor amphitheaters. I love those kind of nights, just outside under the stars with people, and so we're pumped about that.
Right. That's awesome. So I have to tell you, from the outside, if you will, looking in, quite a meteoric rise that you've had in your career there, tracing back to the early 2010s with Gateway Worship, and then, but it seems like things really exploded in 2017, and it's only been 4 years, and you've had awards and albums and singles and tours, and man, tell us a little bit about that journey.
So you mentioned Gateway Worship, so that's my, I'm not in Dallas anymore, but that was my home church where I really learned to lead worship, where I learned to write songs. Kari and I both, we love Gateway so much, and we're so thankful for it. So yeah, that's really where I started, like I said, writing songs, leading worship, and it's just kind of been a journey ever since then of just continuing to write songs. My wife is a massive part of that story. Kari Jobe, she invited me to be in her band back in 2010, actually. And we started leading worship together back then. We became good friends and then ended up getting married in 2014. And so, ever since this whole time, I've just been trying to write songs for the church, trying to write songs that help people. The last couple of years have been really exciting, and just having a number of songs connect with people in the church in a deep way, and it's an honor, and I love it so much.
Right. That's so awesome. So you talked about writing songs, and that's a big part of what a lot of the people who watch GearFest are into. We're all writing music and working on music and things. Take us a little bit through your process. Where do the ideas come from? How do you develop a song? Does it start with the chords? Does it start with the words? Or where does it come from?
Yeah, every song is different, and that's what makes songwriting so fun, is that it all starts with an idea, but sometimes the idea is just a concept. Sometimes it's a melody. Sometimes it's a chord structure, and I feel like as songwriters, you're always kind of gaining inspiration from everything. It's all around you. And I kind of like to think of it as like antennas. Like I always kind of have my antennas up, and I'm always listening and taking things in. I'm always just taking note of something that either catches my attention or, that I just happen to think of. And with what we do with writing music for church, God is obviously involved in that whole process for us. And so we are always asking, praying, God, would you help us know what to write? Would you help us know what to say? Our writing sessions are full of that too, of just those prayers and really feeling like God gives us inspiration, really feeling like we hear certain things, and we have our Bibles open in every writing session, and we're drawing from that, just whatever's speaking to us, and that can apply to anybody, any genre, whatever's speaking to you, whatever you're wanting to say. And once it kind of goes from an idea, I love to collaborate. So I love taking a song to another group of people and saying, okay, I have this idea, what do we think? And a lot of times that feels like putting a puzzle together with your friends. You're throwing all kinds of stuff on the table, and it feels very much like sitting around a table at Thanksgiving or whatever with all these people, and you're looking at all these pieces, and you're putting them together. What about this? What about this? And And you often know when something's right because everyone at the table goes, "Oh man, that's amazing!" Like that feel, you kind of wait for those moments when ideas really hit everybody. And once you have all those pieces together and you have a song that everyone feels connected with in the room, I mean that's kind of how it ends and how you know that it should be right. And everybody's loving every section of it. And I usually know a song's finished when I can't wait to sing every part of it. When I can't wait to sing the verse, can't wait to sing the chorus, can't wait to sing the bridge. That's usually a good indication to me that, okay, I think this is in a good place.
Right. There's kind of two aspects to it once you reach that point. There's the song aspect and there's the production aspect. And checking out some of the videos you've done in the last year, one in particular was with Kari. You're doing The Blessing in your home studio, and you were playing keys, I think. And how important is it to you as a songwriter that the song be able to stand alone like that you can just sit down with a guitar or a piano and play the song, and that it doesn't, or is the production essential, or how does all that factor in?
Yeah, I think it is essential, especially in our world, in church world, because churches are singing these songs and every church looks different, and some churches have, lots of production, and some churches are in living rooms, with an acoustic guitar and kind of everything in between. And so, but I think across any genre, I think a song, it is important to me that a song can sing well and can really move you and move somebody just with a guitar, just with a piano, And so what we focus a lot on lyric, melody. Lyric is a massive part of what we do, because we're putting scriptures into songs. Like The Blessing the whole song is straight from all these different scriptures. It's straight out of the Bible, and so it is a massive part of what we're doing. And so yeah, that's a great test of a great song, is that you can sit down with a guitar, with a piano, and sing it, and it moves you,
Right. So as I mentioned, you do have a home studio, and you've done some videos and things there. How important is the home studio demo process to you before you take it into the studio for the final production, or present it to the band, or take it on the road?
Yeah, so at my home studio, I have the ability to basically record everything but drums, unless I'm programming drums. Which I don't really love to do. I'd rather just call up a drummer that's a friend and say, "Hey, here's my vision, here's my idea. Can you just track, some drums on this?" That's what I prefer. But usually when I leave my studio after writing a song, I've got, a piano, vocal, acoustic. Usually at least that's the basis of it. And a lot of times that works great to communicate energy and, to help translate the energy of a song, the arc of the song, and to hand it to a drummer, to hand to a guitar player, and they can kind of understand basically where the song's going to go and what's going to happen. And so I love that process. I mean, especially now in the world of file sharing and everything's, so easy to do that. I love sending a session off to a guitar player and having them send me back stuff, and send off to a drummer and have them send me back stuff, So I just try to make sure that piano vocal or guitar vocal or something at least is just the energy I want when everything kind of falls in. And then sometimes I add a little more here and there. If I have a very specific vision for a part, I'll definitely, make sure I record it so I don't forget it. But a lot of times, again, it's just that collaboration. I love that. I love inviting people into it. And I love just hearing what they hear and letting them add their creativity to it. Always makes things better.
Sure. So those tracks that you're doing in your studio then, whether it's the piano, are they guide tracks, or are they final tracks that end up on the actual final album?
Usually they're just guide tracks. They're tracks that will be replaced. I think there's a couple times on my latest album that I used a piano track or a vocal track that was the original demo. Sometimes the demo feels so special that you kind of don't want to replace it, or maybe you even try to replace it and it just doesn't feel the same. And at that point, I think the best thing is just to follow your gut and just go, okay, there's something about this take, there's something about this moment, how I played it or how I sang it, that feels special. And so, yeah, leave it in, I try to record things like I have a great vocal mic and a vocal chain and at the studio. And so I try to record stuff as high quality as I can, just in case, that happens. And keys are going down MIDI, so that's great. You can use that all day and change it up or whatever. But I'm not really thinking about this has to be the final. But sometimes, if it ends up being special, sometimes it is.
Right. So then the next step from that for an artist like yourself would be taking that out on stage and performing it in front of people. Do the songs change at that point? Do you go out? How much does a production change, I guess, or factor into the live performance side of it?
Yeah, the songs definitely come alive at that point, and sometimes, you know, sometimes the vision that you've had in your mind, most of the time I think it ends up working well, and it ends up being what you thought it would be, and if anything, it's even better than you thought it would be, you know. And a lot of times that's amazing, because you're like, okay, I had the vision, I saw it happen, it feels good, it feels like it's connecting. But there are times when you take a song to a live setting, and you know, for us in church, we get to lead songs all the time. You know, we're having weekly services, so even when we weren't touring, you know, there was church was closed for about 6 months, but then for the last 6 months or 7 months, you know, we've kind of been in church to a certain degree, able to kind of weekly introduce new songs if we want to. And that's such a great ground for that, you know, having an outlet, a consistent outlet to do it. And a lot of times songs will change in that moment. You know, lyrics will change. You'll realize a certain section didn't seem like it connected. You try it a couple times just to make sure. And that's such a great outlet to have. And a lot of times we've gone back to the writers. You know, we often have group texts of the co-writers on songs. You know, we're going back after we lead it, after a service, and we're going, hey, this felt amazing, this part felt kind of weird, or this chord progression didn't really work. Too Good to Not Believe, the song you mentioned, was that. We ended up tweaking some lyrics after the first time we sang it in church. We tweaked a whole 8-bar chord progression. We changed it all up at one part in the bridge, because it just didn't feel like it had the lift that we wanted it to have, and that we thought it would have when it was just piano vocal in the writing room, you know. And so we ended up tweaking all the chords. So that's a great thing to do. I love playing songs live, leading them live before they're out. I love to gauge a room and to really feel that. I think I rarely have a song that I record that I haven't done it live first, you know, just to kind of really make sure that it all feels right, you know.
Yeah, that's a tremendous luxury to be able to do a beta test.
Yes, it is.
The song before it goes down for the final cut.
Yep, it's great.
That's very cool. Well, I have to mention that Martin is sponsoring your appearance here at GearFest, and we're very grateful to them. And you got a couple of really cool Martins there to your right.
Yes, I do. This is my favorite one right here. This is the one I've had forever. My wife is awesome, and she actually bought this for me for our wedding gift when we got married 6 years ago.
Very nice.
And I had the church at Gateway. We had a couple OMJMs. This is an OMJM. The Mayor model, which is beautiful, amazing design, so fun to play. We had a couple at Gateway, and I loved it so much. I'd play it every time. And so she knew that, and so she's like, hey, I have a wedding gift for you, you know. And it's like, oh, it's my favorite guitar ever. But yeah, this thing it's so amazing. It's so like incredibly balanced, amazing top end, amazing body, warmth. The neck just feels amazing to play, and so I love it. I love it so much. I've got a K&K pickup in it as well, the K&K Pure Mini that I love. Just a simple passive pickup, and it sounds great. And then I've got this. This is a new one that Martin just gave me for this tour. It's a D18, and it's amazing. It has a bit more body than the OMJM, just a bit more depth, richness. It's a bit thicker. And I actually have this as my dadgad tuning guitar on this tour. So I've got a few songs that I play dadgad, and I even capo up in dadgad and play this guitar. So I needed a little bit more of a richer body guitar for that. And so this guitar has been amazing for that. So.
Right. So then I'm going to assume the answer to this question, but different guitars make you play differently? Do they make you write differently? Do they inspire different types of songs?
They absolutely do, because different guitars, they feel different in different voicings and different chord structures. The necks, the sound, everything can feel different. And so I've been trying to even write in different tunings. Like, I love writing in like a dadgad or a drop D versus a standard, and I'll kind of switch back and forth to those, and even trying just just crazy tunings. I mean, just tuning all kinds of strings to different pitches and just seeing what happens. I think that's super inspiring. But these are both super inspiring. I've haven't written much on the G18 yet. I plan to, but I've written a ton of songs on the OMJM, and I love Martin. I'm so happy to be a part of their family, their team.
Yeah, they're a great group of people. We love working with them here at Sweetwater as well, and obviously beautiful guitars.
Yes.
So you mentioned different tunings there, and I'm always interested when artists and songwriters are using different tunings. What is it that you mentioned the inspiration? Is it the breaking out of your standard patterns and chords or things, or what does the different tuning do for you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. I think it's at least for me, it's very easy to pick up a guitar and just muscle memory. My brain just kind of can easily go to the same chord structures. And for songwriting, sometimes that can get in a rut. I play piano a lot, so I also switch back and forth from guitar to piano. That helps a ton too. Same for piano, just playing in different keys and different, even if I want to write in a certain key that I write all the time in for my voice, I'll even try to transpose, and so I can play in a different key and even get the same, result of what I'm writing in. But voicings are super inspiring, and that helps a lot. So yeah, just different voicings. The other day I was just messing around with even as simple as tuning the high E string down to a D sharp, E flat. So down a half step, and playing it in B. I don't play in the key of B a lot. Maybe sometimes with a capo or something, but even giving it that, tuning it down to that third, and giving it that kind of more open sound. It just produces all sorts of different inspirations and all kinds of new creative things. Melodies will come out different. So it's fun if you feel yourself in a rut, it's fun to experiment, switch an instrument or switch a tuning, or switch a guitar, go from acoustic to electric, or write something on bass. I don't know. Why not? You could kind of do anything, and yes. You never know what kind of melodies and ideas it'll inspire. So. Right.
The challenge, of course, when you start using many different tunings is then when you take those songs on stage, you've either got to retune quickly or have different guitars. You've got the one in Dadgad, but how do you manage that?
I've limited it on this tour to just two. I haven't had to manage it that much yet, because even sometimes, if I write a song in a certain tuning, but it doesn't necessarily have a significant acoustic part in that tuning, I can still pull it off. So the tuning got me to the creative outlet I needed, but then I could put it back in the same tuning and still play the same song. That's usually what happens. I haven't reached that point yet. I know someone like Chris Martin, Coldplay. He has all sorts of crazy tunings, and obviously he has a guitar tech that does that for him. So I guess if you're wanting to take that on the road, just make sure you have enough budget for that many guitars and a guitar tech, and then you can pull it off.
Either that or get really fast at retuning between songs.
That's right. You could also just, if you're really good at jokes, if you've got great comedy bits, then you've got time to tune and time to tell jokes. That'd be great.
Right, absolutely. So we mentioned the new single is out. We mentioned you're going to be hitting the tour later this year. You're wrapping this tour up, but later this year you have a tour. Is there a new album on the way as well?
I'm writing right now, so this would be technically the first song out of this new season of songs would be this one that just came out, and then at this point I've got a lot of writing dates booked across the summer into the fall, and just seeing what happens from there. So the hope is yes that we record something soon. But just waiting for the songs for right now.
Well, that's awesome. Man, Cody, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. You're on the road, and I know that's always tough to work one more thing into your touring schedule, so we appreciate you taking time with us today.
I love you guys, and I really appreciate you including me and letting me be a part of GearFest. And I hope when everything's open back up and next year we can do it, I hope I can come back and actually be there on campus. I've never been to the campus of Sweetwater, and I would love to. So hopefully we can make that happen sometime in the future.
Yeah, please.
So thank you.
Please come out anytime. We'd love to have you visit us here. And one more shout out to Martin as well for facilitating you being here with us today, and of course for the incredible guitars too.
Yes, thank you to Martin.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and hope we'll see you soon.
Okay, you'll have a good one.
And thank you for joining us here at GearFest 2021. We've been with Cody Carnes, and I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.